Elizabeth at Literary Princess, and today I have my December TBR for you. I'm getting this up rather late. It's already December 3rd when I'm filming this. I have already started reading quite a few of these, but November was just kind of busy. I did not film as much as I usually do. It's fine. So, let's jump into what I'll be reading. First up, we have one that I started in November that I will be finishing, and this is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I'm reading this on audiobook. I have it out from Libby, and unfortunately I had to return it, so this is on hold until I can get it back, but I am number 2 on the list and there are 4 copies available, so it will hopefully be soon. This is a kind of mystery thriller, possibly with a bit of horror, about a woman named Vera whose father is a serial killer, and she has to return to her hometown to help her dying mother pack up the house that they lived in while her father was, murdering these people. So it's really good so far. I am 52% of the way in, and I was pretty bummed out when I had to return it, but I will be getting back to it soon. Next up is a carryover from the November TBR. This is George Eliot, A Life by Rosemary Ashton. I'm reading this as part of my George Eliot project. I wanted to read a biography of her. Meant to do it for nonfiction November. It didn't happen. It's gonna happen for December though. I have already started it. I just read the introduction, so I'm right at the first chapter, starting with her childhood. So I don't really have any opinions on it yet, but I will be reading it in December. It's gonna happen. We have some Margaret Oliphant because she's my favorite. I'm gonna be reading the first 3 works in the Chronicles of Carlingford. So this is 2 short stories and 1 novel. The short stories are The Executor and The Rector. I actually already read them. I read them last night, but I'm not gonna tell you anything about them. And then the novel is The Doctor's Family. So these are all set in the town of Carlingford. I have read this series so incredibly out of order. I read the last 2 books first and then went back to the 4th book. I'm a mess. So I'm just like going back to the beginning and I'm gonna read them in order. So very excited for this. I love Margaret Oliphant, you all know that, and this will be helpful for my dissertation because I am writing about her in it. And now we get to an event that I am very excited to be participating in. This is the Remember December Rereadathon. This event is all about reading books that you have already read and just getting to revisit them. And it is hosted by several people, so I have the list. Elizabeth from Buchan's Books. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm so sorry. Anne from Anne Novella. Roz from Scallydandling About the Books. Shelley Swearingen. Erin Facer. Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot. And Ollie from Criminolly. Thank you all so much for hosting this event. I am so excited for it. I love rereading things. It's like one of my greatest joys. So for this, my main goal is to reread 1 series. And if you've been keeping up with my videos, you probably know what this is because I recently just hauled most of them. This is the Chronicles of Narnia. So I first read this when I was in middle school, I think. So 11 or 12, maybe I was 10, I don't remember. I was young, and I have never reread the whole series. I've reread The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and none of the others. So those 3 I have visited as an adult, and the others I have not. So I'm really excited to look back at this series. I love it. It's great. I mean, I have these beautiful full color illustration editions from HarperCollins that are very beautiful. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and The Magician's Nephew were given to me by my aunt, and I just recently bought all of the rest of them as a present to myself for finishing my dissertation prospectus. So I am going to be doing this actually a little differently than the first time I ever read this series because I'm going to be reading them in publication order. starting with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So it's really interesting, the kind of history of the reading order here, and people are very divided on it. It's interesting. I was reading the Wikipedia page. So the books were published in this order that I'm going to be reading them, and I will just go through that right now. So The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, The Horse and His Boy, The Magician's Nephew, and The Last Battle. So, publication order. However, if I can get this close enough for you to see without any glare, you'll notice that Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is put as number 2, whereas The Magician's Nephew is put as number 1. And that is because while Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe up through The Silver Chair are chronologically in order, The Horse and His Boy and The Magician's Nephew actually go back in time. The Horse and His Boy takes place during a kind of time jump that occurs in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And The Magician's Nephew happens like way back. Some publishers, when they were all first originally published, opted to do publication order as the reading order. Some opted for chronological order as the reading order. And then when HarperCollins took over, they went with the chronological order. When I was a kid and my aunt gave me The Magician's Nephew and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, she was giving me number 1 and 2 of the series, according to the reading order on the books. And guys, I struggled with that as a child because The Magician's Nephew was published second to last. It kind of assumes you already have a knowledge of Narnia and Aslan, and it doesn't really give you the introduction to it all that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe does. So as a kid who was completely unfamiliar with Narnia, except for like watching that weird BBC version of The Silver Chair, not even The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Silver Chair is what my parents decided we would go with. And that's just weird. I don't know why they did that, but okay. But so as a kid who really had no context for any of this, I was like, what? I found it hard to get through this. I was like, what is this? I don't understand what's happening here. And then I got to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I was like, oh, I love this. Okay. So I am going to be reading them in their publication order this time, because I think that's how they were really supposed to be read. Now, HarperCollins has justified their chronological order with a letter from C.S. Lewis to a fan regarding the reading order, where he said that he felt that the chronological order made sense, but you know what? Sometimes authors are wrong about their own books. And this is one of those cases. So I'm going to be reading them in publication order for the first time. I'm excited to revisit the ones of these that I have not looked at since I was a child. So the Chronicles of Narnia is my main goal for this readathon, but I do have 3 other potential options that I might get to if I have time. And the first of these was actually a reread that I put on my September TBR, I think, because I was craving some dark academia, but I ended up reading a book that I had not read before that scratched the itch, but I still kind of want to reread this. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is one of my favorite books ever. I have read it multiple times, and will I read it again multiple times? Yes. But I am like kind of craving it. And it is good for this season, even though I mostly think of it as a fall book, but the first snow of the year, this takes place in Vermont, happens in this, and there are some very winter scenes, so it's appropriate for December. So we'll see, maybe. The next one is Possession by A.S. Byatt. A.S. Byatt just passed away in November, and I thought that it might be nice to honor her by reading something by her, and why would I go for one of the 2 books I own that I haven't read when I could go for a reread of the one that I have read? I do really love this book. This is another of my favorite books ever, and I would like to revisit it. Whether I do this time I don't know, but we'll see. I do intend to read The Biographer's Tale, which I have by her, next year, so that I can kind of get moving on the ones I haven't read, but I kind of would really like to reread this. Finally is one that I just kind of got in the mood for. I hauled it recently, and then since then I've been like, I want to reread it now. And this is White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. This is a haunted house story, so I kind of want to wait until I'm done with Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, because I feel like reading 2 books about creepy houses is too much, and like things might get crossed. I try not to read things that are too similar at the same time to avoid that. But I do really want to reread this. It has been a really long time. I think I read this in 2015. So I don't know how many years that is because I can't do math, but so I kind of do really want to get to this, but we'll see how long it takes me to get back Just Like Home and finish that. So those are the books that are on my December TBR. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you read any of them? What did you think? Are you participating in Remember December? What are you reading for it? What other books are you going to be reading in December? It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.